We do a lot of different things on our phones and tablets these days. And when you're doing something really important, sometimes you just want a bigger screen for the best results. This giant tablet screen thing that Kefeya sent over is honestly the biggest tablet that I've ever used before. This is basically a giant 32-inch touchscreen running Android 13 on an adjustable stand. The base houses a battery pack and it has wheels on it, so you can just move it around wherever you want. Depending what you're doing, you can get several hours of use on the battery. It's also a monitor with an HDMI input, so you can hook up things like game consoles or a PC to it. The CPU is a MediaTek MT8183. It's an octa-core chip introduced in 2019. The GPU is based on the Mali G72, which was introduced in 2018. It all works and runs Android, but don't expect any miracles as far as processing power goes. It comes with 6 GB of RAM, and there's no RAM boost option in the settings, so keep that in mind depending on what you want to do with it. It has 2 built-in 8-watt speakers on the back, and they'll get the job done for basic stuff like watching some streaming videos. The audio adjustment itself is a little funky too, because the lowest level of setting is a little bit louder than you would expect from most TVs or laptops. If you plan on watching a lot of videos on it though, I would recommend just pairing it with a Bluetooth speaker. That's going to give you a better audio experience overall and give you more granular adjustment. The panel itself is a 1080p 32-inch 60Hz IPS panel, and it has a non-glare matte coating, which I don't know that I've ever seen on a touchscreen before. It does help with cutting down reflections though. If you're out there watching my channel, then you know we're gonna have to try out some gaming on it. For native Androids, the processor inside and the amount of RAM is kinda gonna limit what it can do. It's not gonna be the best experience in brand new AAA type games, but it'll run lightweight stuff no problem. Emulation wise, it did okay for old school games, provided you pair a controller with it, because it's so big that trying to use the on-screen controls is kind of comical. It does struggle emulating more advanced games though, like 3D PlayStation 2 games like Dragon Quest VIII or Gran Turismo 3. I tried those out on here, and even on the lower emulator settings, the game's loaded up, but they don't run at a really playable frame rate. The Steam Link app works pretty well though. I put it on balanced for the streaming settings and had a pretty good experience. I tested out a few games with fast motion like Forza Horizon 5 and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and it kept up fine. I did have the stream hang up on me one time, but I'm not really sure if that was because of the monitor and the Steam Link app or the computer itself. The audio was still going and I could still control it, but just the picture was frozen. That only happened once in the whole time I was testing it though, so could just be a fluke. Since it has an HDMI input, you can hook up, basically any kind of gaming device that you want to it. I think it uses the camera app somehow to take over the screen for the HDMI input, because when you switch to HDMI, you get a brief pop-up that's a notification from the camera app, and then when you're using the HDMI input, there's a green dot in the corner of the screen. The device itself doesn't seem to have any onboard camera built into it, but if you disable the camera in the Android settings, then the HDMI input app fails to launch and you get some weird Chinese pop-up error. This obviously wasn't designed as a gaming first device though, so what else could you do with it? Really, it's very versatile. You could do a lot of different stuff with it. It's like a tablet and a TV, and you can move it around on battery power. You could follow along to workouts on there, or take it into the kitchen and use it to follow along some cooking tutorials. You could use it as a teleprompter. You could hook an HDMI cable up from your camera to it and use it as a huge viewfinder if you're shooting video of yourself. You could take it outside, or you could just roll it up at the foot of your bed and play some games while you're lounging. Really, it's like a monitor and a tablet built into one, so you could do anything that you would do with a monitor or a tablet. I could also see some business applications for these, maybe as some sort of a menu or kiosk thing or a digital sign. You could even just play videos on it in a lobby or a waiting room or something like that. If they made another one of these down the road in the future, it would be cool to see them include a beefier processor with more RAM so it would handle some more intense applications. It would be cool to see a 4K OLED display and maybe a more robust speaker solution. If you wanted to make something real premium, I think they could work a woofer into the base. All of that would drastically increase the price point though, so I'm sure that's a consideration they had when designing it. As it is, it's a pretty interesting and versatile product, and I've honestly never used anything like it before. I wouldn't recommend going out and buying one strictly for gaming, but if you do have other applications for it, it is pretty fun to mess around with, and it would be a pretty flexible backup screen or monitor to have around the house. Thanks to Kefeya for sending it over for my review, and thanks to you for watching along. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.